Wendy Mosini. The education system in our country needs to be revamped. I was a teacher for 5 years, and then I decided that I was going to move out of the private school district and move into the public school district. Many things concerned me about that, a lot of which was the Common Core, which has become a huge topic in a lot of different conversations. The Common Core is basically a standardized way of teaching to make sure that everybody stays on the same page. Unfortunately for the students, not every student is the same. Not every student learns the same. Not every student needs to be on that same page. It takes away the creativity of our students. It takes away a lot of their learning, and it takes a lot of their potential away from what they can truly be. The specific standards were never voted upon by Congress, the Department of Education, state or local government, yet the implementation of the Common Core was voted on or not voted on. It was approved by 49 states and territories. Basically, this means we never voted into the system. It just kind of happens. And the way that it did happen was the states and the government and all these other things that give money to the schools decided that they would give a bonus to schools if they implemented this into their system. So all of the funding that these schools are basically saying that they don't have or that they need more of, the government bribed them to put in these standardized testings in order to get that funding that they need in order to educate our children. It doesn't bring into account cultural differences. It doesn't bring into account any kind of foreign exchange students. It doesn't bring into account just kids who don't excel in certain programs. It puts everyone into one big group and says, okay, this is the way that you need to be. You can't be outside this group, because if you're outside this group, it's not okay. And that basically is not an okay to be a teacher. Julie Gorolski, researcher and educator in philosophy, said, standardization requires replication, not creativity. To standardize a process involves the development of a benchmark model, followed by attempts to reproduce that model. Such a process is not creative and negates and devalues disposition related to creativity, teacher professionalism, student motivation, and advocacy for diversity. How rough must it be for a teacher to want to be able to mold these future generations and to tell them this is the only way that you can teach that subject. This is the only way that you can present that material. Unfortunately, it's not the only way, and it's definitely not the only way that every student learns. Einstein said that a true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. And look at what he did. His views should be recognized as this is not the way that we need to teach our students. We didn't get to the moon by passing a test or by sticking to state standards or by regulating everything. We got to the moon by innovation, creativity, and imagination. That's how we accomplished that great feat. Standardized states, political gains, overcrowded classrooms, and overstressed teachers are causing students serious damage. Not everyone fits into that same mold, and we need to start breaking that mold. When you have a teacher who is completely stressed out, and needs to show their value and their self-worth, that puts a lot of tension in the classroom, which makes kids not want to learn from that teacher. Last quote from Einstein, because again, he's totally somebody who needs to be looked up to, is everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. This is what we're teaching the kids. There's only one way to learn. There's only one way to be. There's only one way to do things. If we continue to do that, more and more kids will feel more and more repressed and feel as though that they can't accomplish the great feats that need to be accomplished in our world. This isn't just an elementary problem either. It is carrying over into the CSN and other college universities and institutes. We all study to pass a test. In every single one of our classes, we are continuously studying and cramming and learning all these new things in order to pass a test. We need to stop doing that. We need to start coming out of our shells, being more creative, giving being able to get that creative freedom that we really need in order to excel in our own lives. For proof of that, CSN has posters hanging around. So while you're walking through your campus, look at the posters hanging around. They have specific counselors that are there for the students in order to get over test-taking anxiety. The International Journal of Arts and Science states that once students understand they can take command of their academics and absolute influence over their achievements, accountability standards will be viewed as motivational tools and aid in student success. The standards shouldn't be what everyone goes on. They should be motivational tools. They should be there to encourage teacher to say, you know what, maybe you need to step up your game a little bit. What can we do to help you to become more creative? That's what these tests should be a benchmark of, not what everyone should be doing. I saw a video of a senior in high school. His name is Ethan Young. And for a senior in high school, he was an amazing speaker. And he said, if everything that I learned in high school was a measurable objective, I have not learned anything. Creativity, appreciation, inquisitiveness, these are impossible to scale. These are impossible things to scale. You can't put imagination on a test. You can't put, the appreciation and the creativity that goes on in everyone's mind on a test. It's just not possible. Our educational system has come a long way since the time of Benjamin Franklin's Common School. However, just as the world discoveries evolve, so must too our educational system. We need to teach creativity, self-thinking, and self-motivation. These are the things that are going to get us by in the next 100 to 1,000 years. A lot of people who are in government and politicians consistently say that it's too expensive to revamp the educational system. Right now at CCSD, Clark County School District, it costs each student $8,000 from the state in order to be educated. When I was working in the private school, the highest expense of one of our students, and that was a student who needed to have extra tutoring, was $4,600. The difference between the education of those students, which I know firsthand because my children went to that school and then tried to switch over into the public school district, was a 2-year learning difference. That's huge, and it was half the price. Half the price of educating these private school children. Trying to put them into public school district was horrible. None of the school district would help. No one would do anything in order to try to promote them being in bonus classes, even though they were 2 years ahead of the public school district. In conclusion, I would like to state to the fellow teachers who may be viewing this video in the future, remember your passion on why you wanted to become a teacher. Remember why you wanted to influence young minds, why you wanted to encourage children to be able to think for themselves. If your students are not pushing you, then you are not pushing them hard enough. Have them question everything. Have them question you. That's the most empowering thing, is to have a student question your ability. Show that student what your ability is. Help them to become these creative young minds. Thank you.